This is JBM from VillainNews, gonna talk about the latest on the American Psycho franchise. The latest on it was in late 2011, early 2012. There was reports that Lionsgate liked a script that was pitched to him by a guy by the name of Noble Jones. He's only done short films, and he's just been basically David Fincher, you know, the guy who did The Social Network and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. He's been working with him, and so he wrote the script and plans on directing it. They said it doesn't even have officially got the green light, but anyway, if you know American Psycho, the 2000 movie with Christian Bale, it's like it was based off of the 1991 book by Bret Easton. He was inspired by the 80s slasher horror era of the 80s, and he basically took a psycho out of the traditional horror setting and put him on 80s Wall Street setting, Upper West Side Manhattan. Pretty good concept, and throughout the first time I saw this movie was around 2002, about 10 years ago, a decade ago, and I didn't really understand or have the appreciation for it because I was only like 14, 15. But now, rewatching it, it's really funny how they have a mockery of basically the yuppie generation, and it's really well written up and down. Great movie to watch. Great performance by Christian Bale. So basically, instead of it being in the 80s, one thing I really didn't like about it is like that era and like them bringing up him being obsessive and forcing his likes onto people, and if they didn't like Phil Collins music or Huey Lewis in the news, and he would blast it in his freaking overpriced apartment, and if they didn't really like it, even though he was a total snob, he was a rich snob, he would kill him uncontrollably. Obviously, I could really get into his mind even more. I plan on doing a villain profile on Patrick Bateman in the future. Pretty good villain. You gotta imagine, well, first off, remember the sequel that they did with Mila Kunis? It was really annoying cover. I used to see it all the time in the horror section at Blockbuster, because the horror section at Blockbuster sucks ass. And you go there and you just see like a bunch of low budget, no name horror movies from the 2000s, independent horror films. You don't even see any 80s slashers except for the big name franchises. Yeah, and then you saw American Psycho 2. I just got so annoyed by that cover. I've never seen it. Obviously, I've heard the Mila Kunis sequel is just terrible. So you gotta imagine, so now it's gonna be set in the 21st century, not based off the book, basically kind of its own creation, but keeping the Patrick Bateman character the same. You gotta imagine actors. I don't think they're gonna go for anyone in their 30s. But there's guys that are in their 30s that look like they're in their late 20s. Because Patrick Bateman's supposed to be like, what, 27 in the movie? You gotta imagine Zac Efron has gotta be up for the role, even though what the hell is up with his acting career. Chase Crawford from Gossip Girl, definitely a candidate, but his acting really isn't that strong. He goes more off of his looks more than anything else, so scratch him off the list. Shia LaBeouf, you gotta believe that Shia LaBeouf's got a good chance at snatching up the Patrick Bateman role. I think he would be pretty good at it. You know, he's a pretty wide-ranged actor, and I think he would love to show off his talents in a movie like American Psycho. The original one had like big names like Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, all attached to star, and Edward Norton turned down the role. And then they brought in another director apparently, and he hired Christian Bale. Other guys who might get considered for the role would be Emile Hirsch, that would be interesting. I think he plays Jesse James Hollywood in the Alpha Dog 2006. I could definitely see him slipping into this role. I just hope they don't hire like a Liam Hemsworth, or he's not even from America. Neither is Christian Bale, but so you can't hold that against him. But he sucks. Liam Hemsworth sucks. I hope they don't go with Robert Pattinson either. He's too gangly and retarded. Maybe even an outside shot at Matt Lanner, but I think they're going to go more big name. Anyway, this was JBM. Tell me your thoughts on the reboot, and who would you like to see cast as Patrick Bateman? It's not going to be Bale, so don't even say it. Yeah, and subscribe for more upcoming horror videos. This was JBM from VillainNews and Mr. Creepshow 09.